Effective reflection. Turn every experience into a step forward. One of the best skills a person can have is knowing how to reflect effectively. In life, we all know people like this. They run themselves ragged every day, seem to do a million things all year long, but never actually get anywhere. At work, they make the same mistakes over and over and are never on the promotion list. In school, they grind through thousands of practice problems, but their grades never improve. In relationships, they jump from one partner to the next, only to break up over the exact same issue every time. But they never stop to think. Instead, they tell themselves, this is just part of life. I'll get better once I've been through enough. But here's the truth. Experience doesn't equal wisdom. What really sets people apart isn't how much you do, it's how much you take away from what you do, how much you actually learn. Let me hit you with a harsh but real fact. People who stay stuck for years aren't lazy, they just never learn to reflect. They mix up busyness with progress, treat repeating mistakes like a badge of persistence, and blame failure on bad luck or unfairness. But they never slow down long enough to really look at the path they've taken or the choices they've made. 1. What is effective reflection? It's not just reminiscing, it's deep breakdown. A lot of people get reflection wrong. They think it's just recalling what happened and posting a vague thought on social media, like, today's project flopped, better luck next time, or I failed this exam, so I'll work harder. But that's not reflection at all. It's just pointless venting. No analysis, no real thinking, no plan of action. Next time you hit the same problem, you'll mess up again. Real effective reflection means breaking down every experience deeply and logically. You go back to the event itself, take apart the whole decision-action-result chain, figure out the key things that made it work or crash and burn, and finally come up with a practical, doable plan to get better. It's not some fancy theory or complicated tool. It's a core skill that lets you stop repeating useless cycles and change the course of your life. The logic behind reflection is simple. Experience only turns into useful wisdom if you analyze it rationally. Our brains are natural cognitive misers. They'd rather use emotions or gut feelings to explain everything than put in the work to think deeply. Like, if you bomb an interview, your brain automatically makes excuses. The interviewer was too harsh, or they already had someone in mind. If your proposal gets shot down, you first think, the client doesn't know what they're talking about, or my boss has no taste. This self-protective blaming keeps you pointing fingers at others and never seeing your own flaws. Effective reflection, though, forces your brain out of that emotional comfort zone and into logical analysis mode. It makes you go back to the scene and re-examine every key decision. Why did I choose that at the time? Were there other options? Where did I veer off track? How far off was the result from what I wanted? Essentially, this process helps you untangle the real cause and effect. It's not bad luck. It's I didn't prepare enough. It's not the client is difficult. It's I didn't get their core needs. Sure, this process is usually painful because it shatters all your self-deception and nice little illusions. You thought hard work guarantees results, but reflection shows you're just hiding strategic laziness behind tactical busyness. You thought you're genuine with people, but reflection reveals you're not listening to what they actually need. But that pain, facing the truth head-on, is exactly what breaks through your blind spots and lets you grow. 2. Why do 90% of people fail at reflection? 3 big roadblocks. If reflection is so game-changing, why do most people still drop the ball? It's not because they don't have time or aren't good at it. It's because 3 major roadblocks hold them back. 1. Avoiding pain. Blaming others instead of looking inward. There's a psychology term called self-serving bias. We credit our own skills and effort when we succeed, but blame outside factors when we fail. This instinctive self-protection makes us run from the pain of failure. Admitting you made a bad call or aren't good enough is way harder than complaining about someone else. Take a friend of mine who did e-commerce. He opened a Taobao store, but it didn't make a penny in 6 months. Every day he'd rant, the platform gives me no traffic, competitors are cheating, customers are too picky. Then we sat down to reflect together and realized the problem wasn't outside at all. His product pages had blurry photos and no clear selling points. Customer service took 20 minutes to reply, so people left. His prices were 30% higher than similar products, but he had zero unique perks. He never thought to check his own mistakes before, because blaming others is way easier than blaming himself. 2. Lack of method, treating a to-do recap as reflection. A lot of people think reflection is just keeping a diary, writing down every boring detail of their day, morning meeting, afternoon reports, nights spent fixing a proposal. This play-by-play note-taking has no analysis, no thinking, it's just a list of how you wasted time. That's not reflection. Real reflection isn't about recording the process, it's about focusing on the problems. Let's take fixing a proposal as an example. Bad reflection would say, stayed late to revise the proposal, so tired. Good reflection would say, my boss shot down the proposal because it didn't show ROI. The issue? I only focused on execution steps, not the cost-benefit my boss cares about. Next time, lead with expected benefits and cost numbers, and use data to prove it works. The first one's just venting, the second is valuable. 3. Not being honest, hiding real problems behind vague excuses. Some people use fuzzy phrases to dodge the real issue when reflecting. Like, the project was late because the team didn't cooperate, or my speech sucked because I didn't prepare. But what exactly did the team mess up? Did not preparing mean you skipped practice or forgot to make a PPT? They're scared to dig deeper because they don't want to find out the problem is them. Team didn't cooperate might mean you never assigned clear roles. Didn't prepare might mean you stayed up binging shows instead of practicing. This dishonest reflection is just lying to yourself. It's like a doctor saying you're not feeling well instead of pointing out the real illness. You'll never get better that way. Reflection only works if you're honest about your mistakes and weaknesses. 3. The power of effective reflection, from stuck to breaking through fast. A lot of people around me have turned their lives around with reflection, and Xiaoyu's story says it all. Xiaoyu did social media content creation for 3 years. Every day, no exceptions, he posted an article, updated a video, and did a live stream. He seemed more hardworking than anyone, but his followers never got past a few thousand. He'd always say, the platform's algorithm is unfair, or it's too late to get into content now, until I made him do a deep reflection. We spent the whole weekend going through his past year's content. First, the data. His articles had a 15% read-through rate. Industry average is 30%, comment engagement under 1%, and almost no shares. That meant users hated his content. They didn't even finish reading it. When we looked at the content itself, the problem was obvious. All his articles were vague life lessons, young people need to persist, or hard work equals success, no specific tips, no real stories. His workplace hacks were copied straight from the internet, no personal experience. During live streams, he'd talk at the camera, never answering questions or caring about viewers' actual problems. He thought he was sharing value, but he was just making himself feel good. Users wanted answers to, how do I stop working overtime, or how do I deal with a toxic coworker, not empty lines like, just work harder. After reflecting, Xiaoyu completely flipped his strategy. He stopped with the vague lessons and focused on users' pain points, titles like working overtime till 10 p.m., 3 hacks to boost productivity, or awkward after a coworker fight. 2 lines to fix it. He added his own stories, talking about how the Pomodoro technique cut his overtime by 50%. During lives, he'd ask, what work problems are you dealing with, and adjust his content on the spot. In 3 months, his followers jumped from a few thousand to 100,000, and he started getting brand deals. Xiaoyu said, I used to think the world wasn't giving me a chance. But reflection showed I was just working hard the wrong way. It was like opening a window. I finally saw my blind spots. That's the power of reflection. It won't make you an overnight success, but it'll get you out of the working hard for nothing trap and help you find what's holding you back. It can't change past failures, but it'll make sure you don't repeat them. 4. 3 core steps for effective reflection, from analysis to action. A lot of people think reflection is hard, but it's just about having the right method. Follow these 3 steps, and you'll make it a habit in no time. Step 1. Record objectively, the foundation of reflection. The first step is to write down the whole event objectively, no subjective judgments. A lot of people start with "I messed up" or "this was a disaster," but those opinions are useless. Without facts to back them up, your reflection will go off the rails. Focus on facts, not feelings. Use a timeline plus decision points structure to record. Context: when/where did it happen? Who was there? What was your goal? Example: May 15th, 2024, presented a proposal to client A. Goal was to sign an annual contract. Decisions and actions: what choices did you make? Why? What did you do? Example: I thought client A cared about cost, so I focused on budget control and spent 80% of the presentation talking about prices. Results and feedback: what happened? How far off was it from your goal? What feedback did you get? Example: client A said no, they said the proposal didn't fix their production issue. They frowned a lot and asked about production capacity, which I couldn't answer. Rule of thumb: only write facts, not opinions. Don't say "I gave a bad presentation," say "client A said no and asked production questions I couldn't answer." Don't say "my coworker was uncooperative," say "I asked them to make a data sheet and they handed it in 2 days late." Objective records are the only way to build a good analysis. Step 2. Analyze deeply, the core of reflection. Analysis is where the magic happens, and it's the step most people skip. A lot of people stop at surface-level reasons. I didn't do well because I didn't prepare. But you need to dig deeper. Why didn't I prepare? Effective analysis means asking 3 questions and keeping digging until you can't anymore. Question 1. What did I do right? Find reusable lessons. Don't think "if it failed, I did nothing right." Even bad experiences have small wins. For example, I didn't get the contract, but I sent the proposal 3 days early, and the client said it was thoughtful. That's a win for advanced communication. Keep doing that. Dig further. Why did I get that right? Was it a good method, or did I prepare well? If you sent the proposal early because a coworker said clients like that, then you can use that trick again for future clients. Question 2. What did I do wrong? Find the root cause. This is the key. Dig layer by layer. Let's take not getting the contract again. Surface reason: I couldn't answer production questions. Dig deeper. I didn't research the client's needs. I assumed they cared about cost. Dig one more. I thought my experience is better than research, so I didn't talk to the client. That's the real root cause. A wrong mindset led to bad preparation. Rule: don't blame uncontrollable things like the client was picky or bad luck. Focus on what you can control, your decisions and actions. Question 3. How can I improve next time? Find specific solutions. The point of analysis is to get better. So your answer needs to be specific and actionable, not vague garbage like "I'll prepare more." Example: to fix not researching client needs, your plan could be: before the next proposal, have a 15-minute call with the client to confirm 3 core needs: production, cost, delivery, and put those on the first page. To fix not answering questions, try: practice with a coworker beforehand, prepare 2 real examples for each core need so I can explain clearly. Step 3. Make an action plan, the guarantee it gets done. Reflection isn't about regretting the past, it's about moving forward. If you only analyze and never act, it's just empty talk. Step 3 is turning your analysis into a practical action plan. A good plan follows the SMART principle. Specific: be clear. Instead of "do client research," say "have a 15-minute needs call before the next proposal." Measurable: know when you've hit it. Instead of "increase reads," say "boost article read-through rate from 15% to 30%. Achievable: don't set impossible goals. Instead of "gain 100K followers in a week," say "gain 5K followers in a week." Relevant: tie it to your goal. If you want to improve communication, plan to give a weekly update to my boss, not memorize 10 English words a day. Time-bound: set a deadline. Instead of "improve next time," say "finish the next client needs call by May 20th. Xiaoyu's plan was: by June 1st, add 1 personal story to every article. By June 15th, hit 30% read-through rate. Answer 10 viewer questions per live stream. That's why he grew so fast in 3 months. 5. Reflection isn't just for work, it's a life upgrade tool. A lot of people think reflection is only for work, but it works for every part of life. Every experience, good or bad, can be fuel for reflection, and every reflection session levels up your thinking. If a relationship ends, don't say, "We weren't right." Reflect, did I ignore their feelings? Like, when they wanted to talk about overtime, I rambled about my day. Did I say what I needed? I wanted to meet on weekends, but never told them. I just expected them to know. Reflection turns you from a victim of love into someone who shapes relationships. Next time, you'll know how to make it work. If you lose money on investments, don't say bad luck. Reflect, why did I buy this? Did I follow a tip or analyze the numbers? What changed in the market? Why did I hesitate to sell? Was it fear of loss or no stop-loss plan? Reflection helps you fight greed and fear. Next time, you'll invest smarter. If workouts aren't working, don't say working out is useless. Reflect, is my plan scientific? I only do cardio, no strength training, so my metabolism's stuck. Am I sticking to it? I planned 5 workouts a week, but only did 2. Am I eating right? No protein after workouts, so muscles don't recover. Reflection finds the gap between your plan and action. Next time, you'll get results. At its core, reflection turns you from someone who goes through life into someone who learns from life. It cuts through emotional fog with logic, so you see your strengths, weaknesses, and where to grow. But remember, reflection is not self-criticism. It's not about beating yourself up for being bad. It's about figuring out where you can be better. Use a growth mindset. See problems as steps up, failures as pavement for success. If you realize my communication is weak, don't say I'm useless. Say my communication isn't great yet, but practice will help. 6. Start your reflection habit today. A lot of people think reflection is a hassle or a waste of time. But here's the truth, not reflecting is way more trouble. You'll keep making the same mistakes, tripping over the same rocks, and wasting time on things that don't matter. Reflection is the best way to avoid the most mistakes with the least time. Start small. You don't need a big routine. 10 minutes before bed, open your notes app and write 3 things. What was the most valuable thing I did today? What did I do right? How can I do it better? Example, I taught a coworker a work trick. They said it helped. I used a real example, so it clicked. Next time, ask their specific needs first. 1 hour every weekend. Make 2 lists. This week's wins, even small things like finished work on time count, and this week's improvements, specific things like cut phone time to 1 hour a day, or arrive 10 minutes early to work. An afternoon each month. Review your monthly goals. Which hit? Which missed? Why? Adjust next month's goals. Example, I plan to read 4 books, only read 2, too much TV. Next month, read 8 to 9 p.m. nightly. Make a weekly plan to read 50 pages a day. Don't be scared to find your flaws. You can only fix what you face. Don't be scared to admit mistakes. You can only stop repeating them if you own up. Don't be scared to change. Change is how you break through. Effective reflection is using yesterday's lessons to guide today's actions and build tomorrow's success. It's not a task, it's a lifestyle. It's not a skill, it's a growth mindset. When you stick to it, you'll notice, every day, you get a little wiser. Every choice a little sharper. And your life? It'll slowly get better. Stop repeating the same old cycles. Start reflecting effectively. Your life will never be the same.